Welcome back, Frank here. You're here because you understood that with AI automation you can save so much time and money for you and for your team. Whether it is a workflow to create social media posts completely automated, transforming images, writing, copywriting for your products from image to text, watching news and generating unique article every day, or welcoming your customers with personalized one-to-one email written by AI. All these are AI automated workflow that are completely automated and built with zero code. And you're here because this is your beginner guide. And with this, you can start saving money, grow more, and earn more of your freedom. So let's get started.
Get deep with Frank to see AI define the new rules of the business game.
In this video, we're gonna learn together the basic tools, the basic concept of the process, and we're gonna do that learning by example. So we're gonna do real stuff together from the basic, from scratch, so we can build the first automation together step by step. Let's get rolling. To make everything easy, you're gonna visit AI Traction on school/AI Traction. You find this AI automation for beginners course, and inside you're gonna find all the links of the tool that I'm gonna explain to you right now. So here, workflow tools, the basics, and we're gonna start with Airtable and Make, which are the most important tools, and then we're gonna set up also OpenAI platform as AI source of intelligence. So yeah, start from here. We're gonna go on airtable.com, and Airtable is basically our Google Sheet on steroids, where we do set up our data, input, output. We can work with files, and it's also perfect to manage triggers and webhooks for the automation. And now, step by step, we're gonna start create our first table together. So we're gonna choose create, start from scratch. Airtable is completely free to start, and it's very cheap also when you're going more advanced and using it more, so don't worry about this. As you can see, it's like Google Sheets. It's normal spreadsheet basically, and here you do set up the column that you need to store your data. So when we are talking about AI automation, and it's different than using a single AI tool because we can process 100 rows of data. So let's say now we're gonna build together an example. For example, here you're gonna set up a column that will be a question, and then we're gonna set up another column that will be answer, and we're gonna delete the assignee because we don't need it, and we're gonna set up a status. So why the sky is blue. And we're gonna use a status to manage our workflow. So in this first example that we will build together, we're gonna use AI to process question and give answer and store them here. So you can use this automation to fill 100 questions and use AI to process them all in a batch automatically, and then provide the answer here. All right? So it's very easy. The status is important because we will let know our automation that this row has still to be processed or not, or if it's finished and done. All right. You're gonna need another column for a technical reason, which is last modified time. So our triggers will know that this row has to process if a specific field, I'm gonna choose status, has been modified after a date. And our automation tool will keep track of that date to know if this single line has to be processed or not, based on this field and the status. So we're gonna also add another question, which colors can be sand color, and other good question what is capital of Italy, and what to visit in Rome. All right, we're gonna put some to do and then we're gonna leave the rest like it is. So this is our first spreadsheet and CMS for content management that can work great with automation. Now I'm back on the school community. I'm gonna find the second tool that we need, which is Make. So you find it here and the link takes you to make.com. It's another platform, and Make is a platform for automating workflows and connecting all different tools. So if we visit the actual website, you can see that here there are so many tools that can be integrated all together. So this creates a bridge between your data and your status and different tools. So it can work with AI, it can work with emails, it can work with calendar, it can work with PDF, and many tools. So here you can see like hundreds of tools can be easily integrated. You find them here. So for example, if you're working with this CRM, if you manage your customer, if you're using Gmail or to manage your files, all the automation we can build with this tool can be connected and easily integrated without any kind of line of code. So it's completely codeless. And we can build whatever workflow we want completely automated. It's also good for communicating feedback. So you have all the integration with also Telegram, Slack, for example, Notion, Shopify, e-commerce platform, blogging platform, all you need. So you just create your free account, you log in, and then we're gonna get started. Great, I'm inside Make. I'm gonna choose create a new scenario. So we're gonna build our first scenario together. And this is a completely drag and drop and in very intuitive, user-friendly UI. And from here, you can just connect, as I said, all the tools. So we're gonna start connecting Airtable. So our spreadsheet that we just built, and we're gonna choose watch records. And this means that Make will keep track and watching our spreadsheet and check if it needs to process something. So you create the first time your connection here by adding a new connection. You're gonna choose OAuth and you're gonna get like just a very simple window to do this connection, like you can see from here. It's very easy. And you're gonna choose your base that you created inside Airtable. For example, like you can see here, like your workspaces, and then you're gonna press access. I already did it, so I'm gonna choose the one that I have, and I'm gonna select my untitled base. We're gonna give a name now, which is better. So I'm gonna go ahead and rename our first database base. All right. So now the name changed here. Here I can just press this to refresh. And you can see our first database. I'm gonna select table 1, which is also the name of the table. You can see it here in the table. On the top left here is where you can see the name of the table. If you're gonna create more, you can give like realistic names. It's better to keep like everything clear. And then here we're gonna choose our trigger field. As I told you before, the automation work well because this tool can understand if they need to be processed all the rows or some rows based on the status and this update. So we're gonna choose last modified, which is the field that we created here, which is triggered and they're gonna save a new date every time we do change a status. So if I change status to in progress, you see this date just updated. And this is how the automation will be triggered and will understand which are the records to be processed or not. So here we can choose a label field. It's not very important. We can select the question. It can be an ID, it can be the name of this row, it can be the title of an article. And then you can set up the limit if you want to process some of the data just for testing. Maybe if you want to import and create the first spreadsheet with like 100 rows, but you just want to test on one, you can limit here. Good. So I'm gonna run the automation just to see if it's working. This is the button you use to test your workflow. So just press run. And amazing, it's successful. So we can see that the operation just ran and we have outputs. So outputs are one collection of data, the bundle number 1, which is our first question, which color can be sand, and bundle number 2 contains why the sky is blue. So it's getting our data from our database, and you see we are getting only 2 out of 4 because we did set up the status and we do have a last modified time. And if you're gonna run this again, you see we don't have any now because this keeps track if that date was updated or not. If I go back to the database, I change to do again, so I refresh this date, I'm gonna have a bundle why the sky is blue. Right, this is the base mechanism that make use to work with Airtable to select the correct data to process. Alright, so we connected our first database with Make, and now we can create our first automation triggered correctly by our data. So now we're gonna use and integrate AI in the workflow. To get started integrating OpenAI as a platform, we're gonna go ahead on platform.openai.com, and from here you're gonna create an account, and from here you can sign up. I will log in because I already created my account. I used Google, it's very simple and quick. And inside you're gonna have to go into the billing, you're gonna set up your credit card, and I suggest you like to add something like $5 or $10. It's very cheap, so usually I have many integration. You spend like something like 0 free every time you use AI, so I never spent more than 6 or 7 euros per month. But you can manage many kind of integration with this. So you can check out the pricing page based on the model that you're using. It's more or less expensive. And the second thing you need to do is to go back to the dashboard and to API keys, and you want to create a new API key. And then you're gonna use that after you create it here, like you give a name, test default project, and by using this you copy this information into Make and you create your first connection using your API key. So I'm gonna destroy this one, but you just copy paste yours into Make. So the first time you go here, you choose create a completion chat, and you create your connection. As I told you, you need to put in your API key, and you can also you have to insert your organization ID. And you can see it from the organization setting in your account here, right? Perfect. So you're gonna insert both. And with this done, I'm gonna just select my connection. Then we're gonna choose create a chat completion. You're gonna choose the model. As I told you, you can choose different model. Of course, the new models usually work just better. So I'm gonna choose 4.0, which is the latest release. And I'm gonna decide what to ask to AI here. So I'm gonna choose user, as we are pretending to automate a task like normally you would do that inside ChatGPT. And I'm gonna ask to the AI, I want you to answer this question. And as it's an automation and this is not like an actual prompt that I need to fill manually, we will choose a variable from our table, which was the question, right? So here I can see that Make is providing me the example of the record that has been fetched before because I press run, and I can choose question. So what happens is that every time it will run with a different question filled inside this prompt. And this is how we do automate a workflow with a table of data. So in this case, it's a lot of questions that we want to answer in batch, and we use AI to provide an answer. So we're gonna go ahead and fill the other data. This is a limit of tokens. We can put a number if we want to limit at the length of the answer. But if you want to have specific length for your answer, for example, you want it to be short, maximum some characters, you can just provide it in the prompt. So you can ask AI to answer in different languages. You can ask AI to give a short or long answer and whatever you want. Wonderful, so now we're gonna press OK and test our automation. So if I want to actually process the first line, so why is the sky blue? I'm gonna refresh my date. Remember, this is triggering the automation, and we're gonna press run. As you can see, now it's working here. You can see it's processing, and now we have already an answer. So when it's like this, you can see it's successful, and you can tap here to see what is the result. So inside here, you see we gave an input, and you can see which message that we used. And I want you to answer this question, why the sky is blue, right? So as you can see, our automation is getting a base prompt and it's adding our variable from the table. And so it's asking a specific question to AI. And in the output, we can see the result. So this is our first automation working. And now the answer is just getting like stored inside here. But what we want is to save our answer inside our database to use it. Like if we wanted to build like 100 article answering a question, for example, we could use this exact same automation to do that, but we want to save our data back to our database so we can store it, and maybe we can create another piece of automation to publish it to our blog or to distribute that article to social media, for example. So now I'm gonna go ahead and create our next step. And I'm gonna choose here, add another module, Airtable again, and I'm gonna use update a record to store our answer. So I'm gonna select again the same base, our face database, and then I'm gonna select our table number 1, and I'm gonna have to choose a record ID. So how does Airtable knows which one is the right record to update? It's gonna be based on the record ID. As you can see here in Make, all the previous steps of the workflow are visible. So I can choose a part of data from the previous step. So if I choose the first Airtable where we're watching the record, I select the ID. I tell the system to go ahead and update the right record. And I want to update the answer field. So I want to insert the result from OpenAI integration here. So this is providing the variable as an answer. I'm gonna save that in our database. And what I want to do also is to update our status so we don't process this line again. And I'm gonna put done as status. All right. So now I'm gonna test this automation again by refreshing our status to do, right? And I'm gonna say run once. It's processing. We have one record. We got this successful call with AI that is answering our question. And we can see we have an updated field here, lastly here. So I'm gonna check my table. And as you can see, I have here now our answer in our database, and it's stored. So if I do this and I'm gonna update this and these fields, I'm gonna process them now. So we're gonna test it, and I can just stay here. We have an error. Gonna run once again. It's a system error apparently. Okay, you see it's getting updated like magic. So it's doing one by one and it's providing the answer. Which color can be sent? Beige, white, black, pink, red, orange. What to visit in Rome, and we have a list of attractions, and the capital of Italy is obviously Rome. So we built our first automation from a database on our table which can manage status and triggers, and we are using AI integrated inside Make to provide an answer to any question and to store it. Now we're working with English, saving data. We want to do final tweak to this system because we didn't filter to make sure we're just processing the status to do and not the status done. Because this automation, if I'm going to update this to done again, just by refreshing this date, will be triggered again. So it will do on a record that has been already processed. So here we want to set up a filter. We want to choose a condition, and we want to choose the column status, and we want to make sure that it's equal to do. We can use a label, so you can just remember what the filter is to do status. All right. So here, if we move it, we can see like that the label also appears here. And if I run the automation, I would make sure it's not getting processed anything. Even if we add an input, which could be water cap of Italy, and as all the records here are in status done, nothing is getting processed. So we did set up also our first filter inside make. And so we do have a trigger, a filter, which is double checking if we need or not to process a record. We are using OpenAI latest version to give an answer to a question, and we are updating our database. So this is our first basic automation for beginners, but it's so powerful because it can scale so much. It can be used for many different use cases, and I'm gonna give you some example right now. First example, one of my favorite is to generate LinkedIn or social media posts in general. So this workflow does multiple steps to generate content, written content, title, and the actual visual like this, and this. So it's very simple, still with the same principle as I explained in this tutorial. Use AI to define the content, save the information, then integrates with a tool which is called Placid to generate the visual, and then saves the information. And it also sends me a very nice message saying that it's finished. Then we do have this one is preparing one-to-one customized emails for all the customers that do sign up into my app. So it goes by getting data from the user. In my travel app, you're visiting a destination. For example, you're traveling to New York City. So it will use Perplexity AI to gather information about the next week's events in New York City, and will prepare using ChatGPT a nice email welcoming this customer into my app, and also providing data about the next event, upcoming event in New York City. So very customized one-to-one email. Then we do have probably my most like intriguing workflow that I'm actually using. So this workflow takes as an input a PDF of a report, which could be a business report, e-commerce report, marketing report, and the actual images of the report, and AI reads the whole report in many pages to generate an executive summary. So if I get a 20 pages report, business report from one of my companies or projects or customers, I use this workflow to synthesis, and it gets saved into my database. So intelligence using AI to generate summaries that could be sent to stakeholders and to other people with a short summary. And a very different, probably my favorite, is this content machine. So this is for like to augmentate pictures. So if a brand has like simple white background pictures, this workflow using AI starts from simple images like this one and creates ambient images and campaign images like this one and this one, and it's crazy. It's also able to create format and visual for social media. So all of these tutorials, you can find them inside the school community. And what is very interesting, everything is completely 100% free. So just go to school.com/AI traction. And what you can find inside the courses is also a blueprint. The blueprint is something you can just download, like just press download. And then you can go on Make. You just go to create a new scenario, and you can import my blueprint. So you choose the file you just downloaded, and like magic, it will generate the same workflow that I built for you. So instead of starting from scratch to create from like zero all this automation, you can just start from mine and copy the system and just customize the prompt inputs and change the data for your table, so you can just reuse the work that I've done. So I think that's it for this beginner guide. Make sure you follow this channel because I will prepare more content for beginners coming into AI automation. And you should also enter the school community because inside there you can find many courses which are structured with useful information, and for beginners starting with the tools and then the like level 0 tutorials, and then you can find all the blueprints. And it's very interesting also because you can Q&A with other members, and we also have special live events only for the members of the community. So make sure to join us there and share our path to learning using AI automation to earn more freedom, save money, and grow more. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.